RDTDaily.com presents a Tarabuster with comedian Tara Devlin.
Yo, what's up, my friends? This is Tara Devlin. I'm standing up. Yes, because I'm sick of sitting. My ass hurts from sitting in this goddamn chair. I need a new chair, man. I'm telling you. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, my bones, my old bones. Sick of sitting in this chair. Oh, wait, didn't somebody say maybe I have sciatica? That could be. No, it's like it hurts my ass. My ass hurts. Just sitting in the fucking chair. Oh, stop cursing. All right, listen, guys. This is Tara Devlin, unapologetic liberal talk on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. Thank you for hanging out. We meet here every Friday evening at this time. I was trying to start early. I'm almost on time. Only a few minutes off tonight, which is, hey, it's improvement. And this is our time, 8:30-ish Eastern Standard Time at this Tarabuster YouTube channel. And I also have a show with the great Tara Dublin, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Political Voices Network. So I hope you can check that out. And thank you, Jim, for being a moderator. Jim is also a moderator over at the Tara Show. And thank you, Redfoot, for being a moderator in the Tarabuster community for forever and ever. Thank you so much, guys. I can't do it without you, and God damn it, I wouldn't want to, right? So, and I want to thank Charlie from APS Radio News. I hope you're doing all right, Charlie. One day at a time, my friend. I know things are, tough. We're just taking it as it comes. Really, I get it. And thank you for your donations. I saw that right before I went on the air. So, yeah, I mean, take care. I really appreciate that. And they will go to the community cats. So I hope you're doing all right. I know, yeah, we're all struggling sometimes, right? I know I do. In fact, today, actually, I had a bad night, I have to tell you, because my cats would not let me sleep. And I don't know what the hell was going on, man. They were really abominable last night. Even when I locked them all out of the room, I only live in a one bedroom. I locked them all out, but they still couldn't stop banging on the door. It was like insane. It was absolute insanity. Everyone was being bad. Boudica, Francis. Well, Ray was not as bad. He's good. He's a good boy, Ray. But, whew, Boudica, I think she was the instigator. I didn't know. I was like, would everybody go to sleep? I even contemplated, which I didn't do, but I contemplated giving them all gabapentin, which is, I have some gabapentin because of Tara Jr.'s arthritis, but it also calms them down. And I actually thought, hey, I'm going to drug these fuckers. I need some sleep. But then, you know what happens? You start hearing the birds tweeting. I hate that. And I haven't been to sleep. I mean, I've maybe, 45 minutes, then they're running over me, and Boudica's jumping into Spooky's pen, and it was like a madhouse. So let's hope they got it out of their system tonight. And then, you know what? And Boudica lost her collar, and I couldn't find it anywhere. You know where I found it? I should have taken a picture of it, because it's almost hard to believe. It was hooked on one of the blinds. I just so happened to see it when I was making coffee this morning. I was in the kitchen. On the kitchen window, in the blind, it was hooked, but it hadn't, it's one of the breakaway collars, but it hadn't broken away. So she must have been hanging by her neck in the blind and somehow hooked herself in the blind and slipped out of the collar. Thankfully, she didn't hurt herself, but I don't know how she managed that. Thank God, really, I got very scared when I saw that. She could have hurt herself. Thank God it was a breakaway collar, like I said, but it didn't break away. Oh, brother. All right. Anyway, thank you for letting me share. Right? That's it. That's all I got to say. So what else? And if you can, please check out I know you can check it out over at the Political Voices Substack. I'm doing a lot of writing over there, and I hope you enjoyed. In fact, that one of the things I want to go over tonight is the article I wrote yesterday about J.D. Vance, who is he's a dirtbag, but there's so many things to unpack. He called the Chinese peasants on Fox News, and of course that upset the Chinese. Who would have thunk it? So not only do we have to deal with the needless, the ridiculous and unnecessary trade war that these monsters instigated, but I guess that's that great deal making, that Republican deal making in action, where you start your negotiations by insulting the people you're negotiating with. Fuckers, right? And of course, the Chinese don't take kindly to that. This is an ancient civilization. Now think about the American, what we're dealing with. And actually, let's get into it, because a couple of things I want to talk about tonight is, we want to go over the J.D. Vance article. And then I thought I would start with just briefly discussing what they're doing, what the maggots are doing with Kilmar Abrego Garcia, lying about him, and just how disgusting they are. By for example, the way I saw Senator Van Hollen today in a press conference discussing how as he was meeting with Garcia, some operative for the El Salvadorian dictator came over and put some margaritas on the table and walked away. And of course, one had more liquid in it than the other. And this, of course, was to give the impression that they was just chilling out, drinking margaritas. And this became a meme rampant in the right wing. For example, let's see if I could turn on the, come on, Ecamm. Work with me, Ecamm, please. Oh God, I have so many windows open here. It's gonna be tough. I need to shut some of these windows, probably. That's one of the other things I want to go over. Elon Musk and his plan to infest the world with his spawns. His filthy, disgusting spawns. Shit. I have too many windows open. Oh, my lordy. All right, well, you could see it. I wanted to isolate it, but you could see it. And yeah, and this some maggot tweeted it out. The general, breaking, MS-13 member Kilmar Abrego Garcia spotted sipping margaritas with Senator Van Hollen as El Salvadorian deportation flight intensifies. He's not a MS-13 member, as we know, and these people are shameless. They're not sipping margaritas, but don't let reality interfere with your Putin puppet propaganda. Now, I don't know for sure. Who knows? When you're on Twitter, you might be taking, wasting your time, I should say, arguing with a Russian bot or literally someone sitting in the bowels of the Kremlin, because that's what they do. They make fake accounts. They make bot accounts. And who knows? Maybe. Join December 2022. Who knows? I do not know. I mean, they're getting very good at masking themselves nowadays. But most of these people, of course, the bots, they don't have real images of themselves. And even if they're real, they wouldn't have they wouldn't put their face on there because they're cowards too. So, but they're just so vile. Don't they ever think about, this is what I always wonder too, do they ever think that if you have to lie, then you're not on the right side of history? you're not on the right side of decency. If you have to continuously lie, then, maybe you should look in the mirror. Know people by the company they keep, of course. If you're in bed with America-hating dictators who are getting off, they're giddy about how they're abusing this man. And if you have to fall back on lies, and it doesn't even matter. Here's the other thing. Even if he was MS-13, which he is not, he deserves due process. That's a hallmark, that's one of the highlights, or that's how you recognize a shining city on the hill, that they are governed by the rule of law, even for the most deplorable of deplorables, like maggots, right? They get their day in court, right? And I wrote to the guy, maggots are the enemies of decency, dignity, democracy, and humanity. We didn't need another example, but thanks. Truly. And that's why I have to wonder, don't you get tired of being the fascist lickspittle of disgusting wastes of human DNA, of people who hate America, who hate democracy, who are incapable of functioning in democracy? Don't you ever get sick of it? Right? You would think. Do they ever have an epiphany where they say, shit, I'm on the wrong side of all of these debates here. Why do I have to lie? If you have to lie, then you're not on the right side, right? I mean, you're not one of the good guys. So, I'm seeing a yellow friggin' banner again. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Let's see. Let me close a bunch of windows. I have too many applications open. And I do have have a zillion windows open here. Let's see. Maybe that'll help. Everybody, thank you for chilling and hanging, getting the word out. And also, if you can, while I'm doing this, become a patron at patreon.com/TaraDevlin. That'll help keep the show going and growing. Because, this is it. This is the liberal media, guys. I know. I get it. But it is what it is. We don't have big billionaire benefactors. We only have each other. And, I mean, do we want big billionaire benefactors? No. But we do want to be able to support ourselves and get the word out, because that's what it's about, And then, I've been griping for years about how on the conservatives, they understood how to play this game years ago. That wherever people went, they wanted the average Joe moron to encounter their kiss up, kick down ideology. Wrap it up in the veneer of whatever fucking bullshit you got to wrap it up in. But they know, because they have nothing in reality to boast about, that they need their spokespeople to sell it. And the other thing is, think about the lies. This just never stop. The lie. And the other thing, actually, we were talking about this on the Tara show the other day too. And what were we talking about here too? I don't exactly remember. But one of the good things in as far as the fact, it's like 100 days now. How many days has it been exactly? Has it been like 105? Let's see. Let me ask the AI. How many days? Oh, yeah, by the way, guys, next week there'll be no show on Friday. I got to dye my hair, but that's not why there'll be no show. My niece is getting married, so I'm going to my niece's wedding. All right? There's no getting around it. I got to leave on Thursday after the Tara show. Sorry, I'm hiccuping. After the Tara show, I have to leave and drive hours. And so I won't be back in time. And I don't think I'll have the time to do a pre-record. So, well, and I am just letting you know. If you listen on Progressive Voices, it'll be repeat. Sometimes, usually if I miss the show, try to do a pre-record, but I won't be able to do it. I just don't have enough time in my life. There's not enough hours in the day. So, become a patron at patreon.com/TaraDevlin. Hopefully, maybe one day, that'll help. Right? We, keep the show going and growing. All right, I'm still shutting windows, if you can believe it or not. I still see the fucking yellow thing. All right, what was I saying? All right, let us go into the article I wrote for the Political Voices Network at the Substack. So if you go, you can read along. I'm not going to read it, the whole thing. I don't think it's very long. That's the other thing. I got to get faster. Because I start writing something and then I feel like I'm back in college. And it ends up being like a 10-page paper. So I have to really get it down to just succinct it. I don't know how do people do that? How does Tom Hartman write 3 books a day, 20 goddamn articles for a Substack? I don't understand how he does that. So this article that I wrote for the Political Voices Network about J.D. Vance, it took me about 2 days to write because of everything else I had to do in between and the research and everything. So, because I try to bring the receipts, as you know. It's not just about Republicans suck. We're bringing the receipts. And honestly, and that's the thing. I always remember when Obama met with the Republicans, who, when we were debating Obamacare, or he was back in the day, right? And he said at one point he had the entire Republican caucus and him standing at the podium, and they were just going back and forth. And of course, Obama wiped the floor with them, because what do Republicans have? They don't, even with that, they don't have anything in reality to fall back on, right? I mean, the United States healthcare is the measurably worst system in the world. Bankrupts millions, needlessly kills thousands, leaves millions out, and consistently ranks dead last in all positive measures. So what do they have except it makes a few people very rich, so therefore it's the best, right? And when and Obama's much to my utter frustration, Obama's damage, for lack of a better word, was that he was so eager to work with these Republicans all the time. He was constantly talking about how the fever was going to break, and I really do believe, if you want to psychoanalyze him, because Obama was of mixed race, he straddled many worlds. He often would talk about how he was comfortable in a boardroom just as he was in a project, right? And he could speak to all kinds of people and touch all kinds of people and reach them. And I really do think that he believed that he could reach the Republicans. At one time, he thought that, that they were sincere partners in governance. At least I think he thought that, because for the entire first term, he was constantly saying, how the fever was going to break and all this shit. It never broke. And then the second term, that's why he had to break out all the executive orders. But and then they were calling him a king. He wants to be a king. He thinks he's the emperor. Remember, I mean, it's like, all the faux rage. Meanwhile, these fuckers are like literally got a goddamn dictator as their standard bearer. Oh, God, I hate them. But Obama, when he was debating these monsters, at one point he said to them, "I'm not an ideologue," and they laughed. And he was like, "No, I'm not. Really, I will listen to all your ideas, and whatever works, we'll go with whatever works." And that was his problem too. Not that whatever works, because Republicans don't have many ideas. They got they got 3. Sorry, I keep hitting this fucking mic. Tax cuts for the rich, right? These are their ideas. Tax cuts for the rich. They have deregulation, and now they have a new idea, which is another article I'm writing for the Political Voices Substack as we speak. I thought I was going to be able to put it up before the show, but these things take time. Because once you do the article, you got to find the links, you got to link it, you got to put fucking pictures in there. I mean, it just takes forever. Yes, I do need an editor. Yes. Who said that on the chat? Jim. Wait, hold on. Something's in my mouth and it's annoying me. So okay. The other thing. So they have tax cuts for the rich. They have deregulation. And then the new thing, their other one more thing in their bag of very limited tricks is give it to the states. That's their new thing. That's from Project 2025. And Trump loves that one. Give it to the states. And the reason I'm writing an article is because right now they're trying to stop federal inspection of food. Okay, they're dismantling the FDA, and they are trying to stop the FDA from inspecting America's food supply. Why? Leave it to the states. Okay, wait for that. That article's going to be up either tonight or tomorrow morning. But this is who they are. They're disgusting. But the other reason why Trump loves this, it's a Project 2025 thing. It's also part of their divide and conquer strategy. I mean, we lived, not we, because we weren't alive, but the founders first created a system that was leave it to the states. And they wrote the Articles of Confederation, which were a failure. And after living in this failed system for 20 years, I believe, less than 20 years, I got to double check that. They got together, they debated, and they wrote, and they ratified. There I go, banging in the fucking mic again. And they what did I say? They debated, they wrote, and they ratified the Constitution, which gave the federal government more power, because the states couldn't collect taxes. They couldn't defend themselves from invasion. There was no way to get taxes, so the federal government couldn't count on states sending taxes to hire a military to protect from invaders and things like that. That's why there were rebellions, and George Washington literally had to come out of retirement to put down Shays' Rebellion, which was a rebellion over taxes, right? And so it just didn't work. And of course, another thing that happened was that the states were competing with each other for trade. So there were trade wars breaking out between the states. And it weakened the entire country. So what the Republicans are doing now is they're weakening the country. So when you say, oh, leave it to the states. I mean, Trump loves to say that. Like he says, oh, abortion should go to the states, everything to the states. Like the FDA, food inspection should be up to the states. FEMA is up to the states. The Department of Education, up to the states now, right? What you teach. So we're going to have 50 little fiefdoms when the Republicans are through with us. And what does that do to the United States? It turns us into a weak and divided nation, which is much more easier to control. The oligarchs can certainly, pick and choose the easier states to exploit. And of course, ultimately, the whole thing is in this Project 2025 fucking assault on the grand experiment is so Elon Musk and Peter Thiel and Curtis Yarvin and all these monstrous America-hating billionaires and and the people they admire, and the Nazis they admire, but it's all about making it easier for them to rule Earth, to steal. What they're doing is dragging us back to every failed experiment, every failed policy that we thought we left in history's trash bin. Right? So let's go back to the Articles of Confederation. You see, this is what pisses me off too. And yesterday, on my phone, popped up a notification was that the Supreme Court's going to hear Trader Trump's argument about birthright citizenship. Fuck you. Supreme Court, kiss my white Irish ass, Supreme Court, because just like Trader Trump's immunity should have been thrown out, the goddamn birthright citizenship, hey, he's got no business talking about the goddamn birthright citizenship. Is in the Constitution. So this baboon, this tax cheating convicted felon baboon, knows better than George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, the founders of this country that put birthright citizenship in the Constitution. We got this serial bankrupt Putin puppet coup plotting traitor is going to usurp George Washington's directives. F that shit. I don't know. People they want the Discord link. Why? You guys are killing me. I don't know if I have it handy. I haven't opened this Discord link in a long ass time. It goes there, but I don't know. Let me see if I have it. Let me see if it's going. It might be. Is it going? Yeah, it's going. It's going. It's a going. Nobody's there though. I never go over there. Here's the link. Oh, that's Twitch. I don't know. Is that Discord? I don't know. Oh, the Discord link. God damn you bastards. Not you guys. Me. That's Twitch. What am I talking about? Don't you guys have it? I thought it was in the friggin' description. I should know these things. Let me see. It's not in the description? Discord. Huh. Huh. Let me see. Hold on a second. You guys, I was on a roll there, buddies. Let me see. I know, there's too much. There's too much tech. Twisted nerves painting. It's just too much. How many? How you gotta keep up? You gotta tweet there. You gotta text here. You gotta do that. You gotta boom bing gang ging ging. Let me see. I have to say I have neglected the Discord as well. I have too many things. I need a goddamn producer. Really? Oh God. I don't know. Invite. Oh, there has to be an invite link, right? Doesn't anybody have it? I thought the Discord. All right, whatever. I can't do this right now, guys. I'll put it later in the chat. I'll find it, and I'll put it in the chat later. I swear I thought it was in there. Oh, there it is. Here it is. Tarabuster community on Discord. In the goddamn description. It should be there. It should be there. Yeah, it's there. It's goddamn there, everybody. Here it is. There you go. There it is. All right. I gotta be better. I got to be best and put some more pictures, at least of the cats and everything, right? All right, where do we begin? Let's go to the Substack, the Political Voices Substack. Okay, what do you think? Political. Come on, can I type? Where's my Buddha? Oh, she's sleeping. Where's my baby booty? If you haven't checked out the Political Voices Substack, I don't know what you're waiting for. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, beach ball. Fuck. Don't do it to me. Don't do it. Wow. Here comes the music. All right. Saved by the Bell. Hold on. We'll be right back. This is Tara Devlin, Unapologetic Liberal Talk. Become a patron. Patreon.com. This is weird. How is the... Oh, okay. How's it sounding? How's the audio sound? I got a new audio thing on the eCam levers. It just... I guess it's in the new update or something. It says AI system audio. I've never seen it before. I've never seen that. Interesting. So bizarre. Fucking thing isn't listening to me. Okay, so, alright, where the hell is it? Political Voices. Bzz, 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 bzz. Where the heck is it? I'm trying to find it, guys. I mean, oh, here it is. J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance calls the Chinese peasants, while Republicans drag America to the Dark Ages and Americans to serfdom. Stop me if I say anything that, you know, is wrong. Hold on. Fucking shit. Ecamm is fucking me good tonight. I mean, that's what she said, but what is going on? It just won't. It just, maybe I'll open it up in another, like in Safari. Let's see. Because it's really getting bad. I want you to be able to see it, and son of a bitch. Nothing is working. Nothing is working. All right. Let's try again. All right, I'll just start. Fuck. Okay, you could see it now. Good. All right, well, let me play this clip first. I'm afraid to do it, to tell you the truth, because everything is very slow. But I'll play it off the screen. Here's J.D. Vance.
We borrow money from Chinese peasants to buy the things those Chinese peasants manufacture.
Can you hear that? We borrow money that Chinese peasants... We borrow money from Chinese peasants to buy the things that Chinese peasants manufacture. And I hope if you couldn't hear it, that's exactly what he says. But this is, and what I wrote is, you know, there go those great Republican deal makers again, while their serial bankrupt, tax cheat, and standard bearer starts a ridiculous and unnecessary trade war with the world. His Butterfingers VP, and I'm sure you saw him dropping the football trophy. His Butterfingers VP hurls insults at a civilization that has existed in grandeur while his ancestors were still figuring out how to properly ferment moonshine. And that's the thing. It's so insulting to the Chinese people are proud people. I mean, they've been around for 5,000 freaking years. Well, we're not even 250 years old. And look at us. Look at how far we've fallen. And I'm not saying that the Chinese are wonderful and everything is great in China, but they surpass us in so many ways. And when I was doing this, when I was researching this article, and that's why I wrote about it too, because it really did make me want to weep for this country. Yeah, I gotta do this. I'm frozen. Am I frozen? Fucking shit's not working. I'm frozen like Madonna. You know, when your heart's not open, you're frozen. So, okay, so on Fox News, the network that makes its viewers less informed than those who watch no news at all, Vance sneered, "We borrow money from Chinese peasants to buy the things that Chinese peasants manufacture." Predictably, China didn't take kindly to being called peasants, especially given that the Americans are the backwards ass idiots who chug along in 1950s infrastructure, while the Chinese speeds from province to province in bullet trains. So, you know, China they're not peasants, okay? They're a rapidly growing middle class. In fact, there's more Chinese citizens. I mean, there's over 1 billion Chinese. So you really don't want to fuck with them. You're fighting a losing battle with the Chinese, and they also play the long games. And the only thing, you know, you don't start off by insulting people. They created this needless trade war, this unnecessary tanking of the world economy, and then they act like they are doing everybody a favor by what? Insulting them? Right? And that's just not how you start negotiations. I don't know about you, but whenever you want to get something from somebody, if you have, it doesn't matter what it might be, you have an exchange of whatever it might be, ideas, or, you know, you could do this for me, I'll do that for you. You don't start off by insulting people. And especially when you're totally in the wrong. This is what I can't stand about these filthy Republicans. It's clear that J.D. Vance thinks, or maybe he has the Chinese people confused with the Republicans, you know, who fall to their knees at the first syllable of an insult, of a juvenile taunt, right? These fuckers they get so cowed. And you know, it's the fact that the Vice President of the United States calls the Chinese people peasants, it's so indicative of how ignorant he is. And that's what it doesn't say. It doesn't insult the Chinese people. It simply, he insults himself, really, and the American people. And I have to say, I feel bad. I mean, because, you know, these fuckers are dragging us down. They are embarrassing us all over the world. They are turning the entire world against us, including America's democracy-loathing dictators who hate us. You think Putin has our best interests at heart? Not only do these baboons have our allies against us, of course they you know, they've made it so our allies are joining our enemies in hating us. Who's for us? The maggots? The 31% of idiots who came out of the 60% of dumbass Americans that came out on election day? Not the dumbasses, not the 60. I mean, you know what I'm saying. 31% of the 60% of the voting population that came out on election day gave us these monsters, these unfit monsters. And I remember when, a million years ago during the campaign, I remember thinking and watching the vice president debate, which pissed me off on many levels because I thought that Walz was entirely too gracious to J.D. Vance, the filthy liar that kept lying to his face. And I was screaming facts at the screen while, while Walsh sat there silent as J.D. Vance was, and I told you, we talked about it at the time, when J.D. Vance said that during the Trump administration, it was the first time in 50 years that the American worker got more or brought home more take-home pay, that wages rose. And I was screaming at the screen that, yeah, that's because blue states were passing $15 minimum wage laws that Republicans were trying to obstruct. But, the shameless Republicans that doesn't bother them. Truth. What is truth? They don't pester their beautiful brain cell about truth. They take credit for democratic successes, and Walsh sits there silent. I mean, wouldn't that have been a masterful stroke, so to speak, like JD on the couch, if Walsh had simply said, yeah, that's because blue states were passing $15 minimum wage laws despite Republican obstruction. And I don't know. I know these things off the top of my head. You would think he did, but maybe not. Can't be, everybody can't be Tarabuster. I know. Even though I know we wish the world was as wonderful as Tarabuster. I'm only kidding. Whatever. I'm only joking. I'm not that, please. I'm just joking. So, here comes the music. Mercifully, here comes the music. Hold on. We'll be right back. Become a patron at patreon.com. Taradevlon. Taradevlon. All right, let's see. So, yeah, China didn't take kindly to being called peasants. And the senior official, Zhai Baolong, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but he called the comment ignorant and impolite, declaring, let those peasants in the U.S. wail before the 5,000 years of Chinese civilization. He also suggested that maybe the peasants in the U.S. should brush up on 5,000 years of Chinese civilization. Sadly, though, as we know, there's a slim to none chance of that happening, because the average Trump voter, and I do mean average, doesn't trouble their beautiful brain cell with reality, much less history. And unless it comes from the whole of a pathological liar who set up a scam university, a propaganda network that was, or, let me read this better. Let me be best here. Unless it comes from the whole, the lie hole of a pathological liar who set up a scam university, a propaganda network that was hit with the largest fine in American history against a media company for lying to its viewers / victims, or right-wing influencers literally funded by the Kremlin, they won't be availing themselves to any knowledge, much less wiping off the dust from a history book. It's the truth. These are all graduates of Meme University. They saw a meme, they think they're scholars, right? They go with their guts. They know nothing about history. That's why they always talk about the Judeo-Christian values that created America, which is nothing further than the truth. The truth is America was founded as inspired by the liberal age of enlightenment. And the founders were deists. They were not saying, let's create a country of Judeo-Christian values. They were escaping the Western civilized order that had church and state intertwined. They knew the oppression that came from that kind of marriage between these two forces, how that kept civilization down, how it kept people down. And they certainly weren't going to fight a revolution against the king and the aristocracy only to recreate that here in America. That's why they put in freedom of speech, freedom of the press, how there will be no religious test for office, that how that, you know, because this was at one time not the case, as we know. Look throughout Western civilization, the history. You know, just look to England for one thing. You know, the religious burnings at the stake between the Catholics and the Reformers, and the Protestant Revolution in Europe. And you know, the king was the church, and if you know, going against the faith of the king would be tantamount to treason. So yeah, they weren't. This whole thing that the founders were putting together was certainly a progressive initiative. It wasn't conservative, and I know that the Republicans hate that, but that's why they hate America. Okay, and let's get real. So, okay. China, of course, slapped the U.S. This is their great negotiating skills of the Republicans. You know, all the deal making. The deal making that goes on, that we see these masterful art of the deal. This is art of the deal in action. You know, I mean, you know how disgusting and how tedious it is to watch. Well, of course you know, because you're living through it as well. But watching Republicans pat themselves on the back or praise Trump for the art of the deal after tanking the world economy, and it's still tanking. He lost in a matter of days 9-point-something trillion dollars in wealth evaporated from the world economy thanks to the effing baboon. Okay. But that's okay. He'll be fine. You know, he's got that cryptocurrency, and he's got a whole bunch of scams happening, Bibles and shit. It's absolutely unreal how anyone still supports him. But like we've been saying forever, how anybody supported him in the first place is also pretty baffling. And shame on you. You know, if you voted for that Trump, that monstrosity, you should be embarrassed. And one day, as I've been saying, right, forever, one day those who those who cheered the con man will only speak of it in shamed whispers. That day will come. It is coming. And I forgot to finish the thought from earlier as we were talking on the Tara show on Tuesday and Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard at the Political Voices Network, that one of the things with fascism, the reason people, as much to their utter and eternal shame, but many people turn a blind eye to their neighbors disappearing in the night, or they'll tolerate the fascist regime initially, is because they initially are successful in certain ways, especially economically. Like Hitler built the Autobahn, same thing not the same thing in Italy, but in Italy, the fascists had initial economic success through public works projects and whatnot, and that's why people tolerate it, because they see the success. They're like, oh, I have a job, I have steady income coming in. Who cares if it's because my neighbors were disappeared? But okay, that's how people are. They're very fragile, selfish, self-centered, and scared. So, but we're not getting any of the fascist success, right? I mean, and always it ends poorly, though. So it doesn't last. The success never lasts. So don't worry about that. But they don't have success to begin with. What they have are lies. They have gaslighting. They have a cabinet meeting where they all sit around and praise the baboon for what? The art of the deal. You're doing great. I'm really proud to be part of this amazing movement. That's what? Tanking the economy? Firing people? Destroying people's futures? Turning our national parks into shitholes? Cutting lifelines? That's Twisted Nerves painting. That's Ray. You hear. I didn't know you could hear him. Yeah, he does that, right? He's singing the song of his people. He's very funny, but he might have, every time he has a toy, when he picks the toy up and he walks around meowing. Ray. Where's Buddha's sleeping? Oh no, Tara Jr.'s there. Francis is here. I don't know where Boudica went. She was sleeping over there a little bit ago. But yeah, Ray's in the other room. He's got to hear me talking about him. He knows his name, but every time if I even mention his name in a sentence, he can hear himself. He hears the name. He's like, all right. So let's see. So China retaliated by again slapping 125% tariff on U.S. goods, and I guess this is how the baboons run things. I guess the factories are all propping up. They're all just springing up. They're growing like weeds here in America, right? All of a sudden, here go all of the factories going up everywhere. We can't stop all the factories. There's so many factories and jobs happening. Jobs. Right? Oh, don't worry. It'll get worse. So, let's see. That's the Republican deal making at its best. Alienate your trading partners, tank the vibrant economy handed to you by your predecessor, then strut around like King Baby, as if you just nailed the game-winning nothing but net buzzer shot. Right? The buzzer beater. As the civilized world stands with its mouth agape, rolling its eyes and shaking its head. If that doesn't sum up, I mean, I did write that myself, patting myself on the back a little bit, but that's exactly what we're witnessing. They tank the world economy, they destroy everything they touch, and then they walk around like King Baby. Like they just hit the nothing but net buzzer beater at the nick of time to win the game, to win the championship, right? It's absolutely, it's gaslighting, but they're gaslighting us, but we have eyes. People see what's happening. They see their money dwindling and their 401ks. That's the other thing. What happens, the corporate media doesn't ever bring that up about the, they are like, everybody's 401ks are tanking. Yet another example why 401ks suck. America used to have pensions, used to have guaranteed pensions until the day you died, and then you could pass it on to your spouse if they survived you. And now the Republican idea of switching, because everything that the Republicans do, they destroy. Everything they touch, they destroy. They transferred the American people. It was all a scam, to put people into the stock market and to make everyone, really poorer. And you gotta hope that when you're ready to retire, that you're not retiring when a baboon's in office. Because the people who were getting ready to retire, and I really do hope there's a lot of maggots in there, frankly, and I hope it doesn't hurt too little. They were just about to retire, right? Maybe they had 6 months, 7 months. They were getting excited. They were going to put their paperwork in, and they voted for the convicted felon, America-hating, pathological liar, coup, plotting, Putin puppet, traitor, right? The serial bankrupt, traitor to America. And because they thought he's such a great businessman. He knows what to do. He knows how to make those deals. He's a deal maker. He wrote The Art of the Deal, for F's sake, didn't he? No. But I hope when you're watching in the not even 100 days or around the 100 days of this maladministration, watching your life savings dwindle, good for you. That's what you voted for. Good luck. No one is pointing this out. They're not pointing out how repugnant people are, who they were fine with everything. They were fine with the fascists coming down the escalator, calling Mexicans rapists. They were fine with that. They were fine with the family separations, every other egregious assault, including all the lies, the pathological lies, the childishness, the name calling, the my rocket's bigger than yours, all of the effing baboonery of the first maladministration, and up to and including the coup. They were fine with the coup. Cops being beaten, the zip ties, the cattle prods. They were cool with that. It's the 401ks. And they're not smart enough to open their eyes and understand that they've been played. That the Republicans have been playing them for generations, that switching to 401ks. And I know that all I can remember hearing from maggots all the time when they were teabaggers and whatever other incarnations they were manifesting as, saying how I know better what to do with my money than Social Security. I had a friend. I have lost touch with this person. She moved to Texas. I'm sure she's a Trump banzee, but she was gay. So she's still gay, and a Republican. She was almost unbearable. I know a few gay Republicans, believe it or not. And I of course would always have arguments with her. And one of the things I remember her going on about, I know better. Social Security should be privatized. Give it to me. I know how to invest it. Oh, really? So between everything else, we got to be day traders too. That's what Republicans want. They want you in the market. They want you to be just big fat sucker. Easy money. Fuck the fiduciary goddamn responsibility that any financial planner may have. In fact, that's something. Did Biden signed an executive order about how financial planners need to be fiduciary, agents for the people that they take the money from? And I think Trump undid this. I gotta look that up. That's what we need. I need a producer. I don't want to just say things, but let me see. I read a lot of things. I hear a lot of things. Let's see. Did Trump undo the fiduciary, how would you put that? Responsibility? Or obligation? Obligation. Of financial planning. Of financial planning with, let's see what happens here. Let's see what happens. Did Trump, and I'm sure if he could, he would. If he didn't, okay, Trump did not entirely undo the fiduciary obligation of financial planning, but his administration took significant steps to weaken and ultimately roll back the Department of Labor's fiduciary rule, which was designed, to require financial advisors to act in the best interest of their retirement savers. Of course, I'm 100% right again. He didn't entirely roll it back, but he weakened it and, took a big chunk out. So the fiduciary rule finalized during the Obama administration required financial advisors handling retirement accounts to act as fiduciaries, meaning that they must put their clients' interests ahead of their own when giving investment advice for retirement accounts. This rule was intended to reduce conflicts of interest and protect consumers from biased advice that could benefit the advisor at the client's expense, which was what happened in the near second Republican Great Depression that Obama inherited. In 2017, Trader Trump issued a memorandum directing the Department of Labor to question and review the rule, questioning whether it would limit access to financial advice. And let's see, delays and non-enforcement. The Department of Labor, following Trump's directive, delayed the rule's implementation and postponed enforcement of its key provision. So, I mean, if you're not going to enforce it, then it doesn't exist, right? Unreal. These delays were seen as a move to eventually weaken and eliminate the rule. What do you think? Let's see. Some fiduciary obligation still existed under older regulations. I guess he didn't get to that yet. And certain advisors, like registered investment advisors, remain subject to fiduciary standards under other laws that, you know, the trader didn't get his fucking clutches on yet. Unreal. It's not unreal. This is where we live. And we're going to get to the more tragic aspects of my article in a minute. Hold on. All right. Right? I know. Mike says, I've been working since 1977, and I hope they don't try to take away my Social Security. I hear you. They're going to try. That effing unelected South African parasite is in Social Security now. This piece of dirt. You know, he's been going around complaining. They found so many frauds, waste, frauds, and abuses because, 8-year-olds, 4-year-olds were receiving Social Security because he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Yeah, you dumb fuck. Elon Musk, you dirtbag. You ketamine-addled kook. Who is the reason, who is the friggin' embodiment of why billionaires shouldn't exist, how they are detrimental to decency and humanity and democracy, that he doesn't understand that. Yeah, they get survivor's benefits. Social Security is not just is for your retirement, it's an insurance plan. If you get disabled, you don't have to go and sell matchbooks or apples on the street like the little matchbook girl. Or do some, go turn to life of crime. I hate these people. Oh, 4-year-olds are getting Social Security. I mean, what an ignorant cuss who wouldn't bother his pretty little mind, his beautiful mind, about learning about what the fuck he's trying to do. They don't know, because why? They're there to destroy. That's all they do. Elon Musk, I saw some commercial saying it was about don't buy Tesla, which is good. And I thought, the lady in the commercial, I should have grabbed it, was going on like, I used to think, she said, I bought a Tesla before all of this, and I used to think that Elon Musk was like our very own real life Tony Stark. Well, that's only because he's got a good marketing team. And I don't need to go into it again. I've written a few articles about him at the Political Voices Substack. He's a grifter. He's not a genius. No genius tweets 200 times a day about bullshit, Nazi conspiracy theories. No genius wastes their time hiring ringers to play video games for them so they can say, I'm number one. I'm in the top 10 of Path of Exile and Diablo 2. What a needy, thirsty bitch he is. Like Trump. No one likes a needy bitch. Nice to see you, Christina, in the chat. Nice to see you. Welcome, welcome. And 77 El Raz, nice to see you. Nice to see you. And Robin. And of course, Errol and all our OGs, JD, and Twisted Nerves Painting, who has his own channel. Check it out, guys. Luther, nice to see you. And Kathy, nice to see you all. Forgive me if I'm skipping anybody. A World Traveler, nice to see you. And others, Josie, nice to see you. Let me know if I missed you. I'll give you a shout out. Thank you for being here. All right, so let's keep going with the article. Let me look at what time is it? I know I'm dragging my ass here. All right, let's see. Okay, the only thing Vance accomplished with his ignorant remark is galvanizing more hatred for the United States. And that's the only thing the Republicans are doing. Right? Thank you, Robin, for your super chat. Nice to see you. Yo, Tara. Nice to see you. Thank you for the emoji and the super chat. And, yeah, that's all they're doing. The only thing... oh, yes, Mike. Hi, Mike. Nice to see you, Mike. Thank you for hanging out, my friend. So, let's see. The only thing that they have done in the last 100 days is galvanizing hatred for the United States. And everywhere. In every nook and cranny of the globe. They have really denigrated us as a people. How could we live this down? I mean, if you go to another country, you're going to have to say, I'm sorry. I didn't vote for the fucking baboon. I hate him too. Sad. Nice to see you, 00 Govan. Nice to see you. All right. Yes. So the fact is, Republicans just... and here's the other thing. So this is where I'm going to get into the comparison. Republicans don't just think that the Chinese are peasants. They think that the American workers are peasants too. In fact, they prefer them that way. As such, they're doing everything in their power to make sure Americans are dragged back to serfdom. So, and here's just some historical context, which made me want to weep. Once upon a time, America had real leaders. For example, Eisenhower, even though he had an R after his name, he didn't witness... in 1957, the American people saw the Soviets launch Sputnik, and it sent a chill down, Eisenhower's spine. And instead of, what did he do? He didn't go after the Russians. He didn't talk about woke math, or he didn't send a message saying, well, my rocket's bigger than yours, or anything like that. They invested in education. It was a deliberate, I wouldn't even say space race in a way, but a deliberate cultivating of American intellect. So the American people, and through their representatives and president, poured money into education, not religious myth, wrapped up in the veneer of legitimacy with terms like intelligent design. That's what Republicans do. You know, they teach myth and they pretend it's real, which sets the American people, the youth, it sets them up for failure. The whole world is evolving without them, and these assholes are thinking that the Bible is a science textbook. So 20 years later, after these Eisenhower initiatives, as the dust settled from McCarthyism and the right wing's latest at the time manufactured panic attack, Neil Armstrong planted the American flag on the moon. Not because we prayed harder, but because we invested in teachers, in students, and the idea that America is at its best when we rise to a challenge together, not when we create a crisis for no damn reason, but feeding the malignant narcissist convicted felon's need for attention. And the another thing, which I didn't put in the article, because that would have been another tangent that I would have taken 3 days to finish the friggin' thing. But the reason we were able to go to the moon, too, in the last century was because the American people were taxing the rich at a 90% marginal tax rate. And we had a 35% unionized workforce, which, of course, also contributed to our treasury. So we not only could build the interstate highway system and things like that, we had enough left over that we went to the moon together. We didn't give 50 fucking billion to one unelected South African sociopath, right? We did it together as a country. And that's great, I think. But not anymore. Not if Republicans had their way, you see. If Republicans had anything to say about it, there would never have been an American century. Because the other thing is, when the GIs came home from World War II, they saw a large pool of labor coming home. But it was the Democrats that passed the GI Bill, sent the returning service members to college, which every dollar invested in the GI Bill returned $6 in tax revenue. You know, it's investment. That's what the Republicans don't fucking give a shit about. They don't care. I don't know. Well, it's because they want to destroy this country for real. Because Elon Musk, Curtis Yarvin, Peter Thiel, who owns J.D. Vance, they don't like democracy. They don't believe in it. They believe in autocracy, in a technocrat-run autocracy. For real. I'm writing an article on that frickin' thing, too. I've been telling you about it. Everything else gets in its way, though. It's coming. It's coming. So, yeah, imagine that. A time when American greatness actually meant innovating. Hold on. What time is it? Okay. We'll be right back. Unapologetic liberal talk. Oh, wait. I just saw something. Did I repeat the sentence here? It doesn't matter. Okay, so Republicans are making America a nation left in the dust. And I just want to compare between what's going on in China and what we're dealing with here. So here's the damning evidence. While China surges ahead in every metric of modern civilization, except for freedom, and we'll get to that, okay? The Chinese people, I'm not saying China's perfect. It's clearly not in any way near. And in fact, as I write in the end of the article, that if the Chinese people ever got their act together and got their freedoms, then they would be unstoppable. But right now, they are blowing us out of the water in every other metric. The only thing, as I was researching this article too, the only thing that the Americans that we excel in as over the Chinese is, wait for it, military. We build more weapons. So that's it. All right, so Republicans are sabotaging our science and technology. As we know, we're watching Project 2025. They're firing scientists en masse. The Trump administration purged climate scientists, researchers, doctors, and Republicans continue to attack federal science agencies. Meanwhile, China graduates more STEM PhDs in 1 year than the U.S. does in 3. And many of these doctors are focused on critical future technologies like quantum computing and renewable energy. The Republicans are defunding research. They've gutted agencies like the National Science Foundation, and while China increases their research and development by over 300%, surpassing America by far in total research investment. Republicans are also attacking space exploration. They want it to be Elon Musk's sole domain, right? China has landed probes on the far side of the moon. They built a space station on the far side of the moon, and they plan a lunar base, all while Elon Musk sucks up taxpayer money to blow up rockets while he dismantles every government agency. Well, and what they're doing, I mean, but when he's dismantling everything and firing people, they're fucking throwing the American communities into chaos and families into despair. But he's also, they're destroying our future. He is destroying the American future. They're dragging us to the dark ages. So, and of course, what Elon Musk's end game is to be, to basically take over NASA. Give it to him. Republicans will be fine with that. So, and here, Republicans are destroying education. They're banning science. Florida now requires public schools to teach that climate change is a theory, while pushing creationism as science. Meanwhile, Chinese students outperform Americans in math, science, and reading by staggering margins. GOP-led states have slashed higher education budgets by nearly 20% since 2008. China has built dozens of new world-class research universities. Republican legislatures are banning books, more than 1,600 in schools nationwide, while the books, this is more than 16,000 titles they've banned. China pours billions into artificial intelligence research and high-tech vocational training. Meanwhile, the actual head of Trader Trump's Department of Education, Linda McMahon, doesn't even know what AI is. I don't know, you might have seen that. Oh shit, of course it's not going to play. When she, unbelievably, she didn't know what, I'll just paraphrase it then. She had no idea what, oh, here it is.
I heard, I think
AI.
it was a letter or a report that I heard this morning. I wish I could remember the source, but that there is a school system that's going to start making sure that first graders or even pre-Ks have A1 teaching every year starting that far down in the grades. And that's just that's a wonderful thing.
Isn't it
Kids are
wonderful?
sponges. You know, they just absorb everything.
They're sponges.
So wasn't all that long ago that we're going to have internet in our school.
Look at this lady.
Now, okay, let's see A1 and how
A1.
and how can that be helpful? How can it be helpful in one-on-one instruction? How can it be
How can it be helpful in one-on-one instruction? You don't even know what the fuck you're talking about, lady. And they're all these others. What are you doing? They're just sitting. Yes, isn't that great? A1 in the classroom. A1 sauce in the classroom. Everyone, and kids are sponges. And the only reason she's at the head of the Department of Education is to destroy it. So while China builds for the future, America's infrastructure crumbles. Republicans, here's another thing, you want to weep? They have blocked every attempt at major rail modernization, every single time. We have tried to build high-speed rail in the United States. Republicans have blocked it. Well, that would cost money. You know, they might have to raise taxes on billionaires. And their billionaire masters just won't abide a tax increase when they've come so far, turning the American working class into the more malleable working poor. While Republicans obstruct, China has built over 33,500 miles of bullet trains. I guess I should have wrote bullet train rail. More than the rest of the world combined. Meanwhile, America's fastest train, the Acela, averages 68 miles an hour. So China rolled out 5G nationwide while we were still arguing whether 5G caused COVID. And that's, I wish I was kidding. They're leading in AI development and in head and quantum computing. And the GOP's idea of innovating is removing photos of the Enola Gay, right? And pretending that climate change isn't melting Florida into the ocean. China, meanwhile, is rolling out 6G trials, with 40% of Americans still lacking reliable broadband. That's something that Joe Biden tried to provide, and the Republicans are rolling back high-speed internet for the entire country. So they're also, on top of it, China's the world's largest producer of solar panels, wind turbines, you know, all that woke shit. And, of course, Republicans are making Americans stuck in the past with big oil. They literally unplugged electric charging stations on federal property, these pieces of dirt. You know, they were built, but they unplugged them because they're fuckers, because they hate America. Also, of course, China, they have a semblance of universal health care, relatively new, by the way. So no one goes bankrupt. No one has to beg on the internet highway for medical care. No one has to needlessly die without health care. In fact, the infant mortality rate is lower in China than it is in the United States. And life expectancy and in the United States and China are converging. America is like a year. We have a year on them. But that's only because the life expectancy in the United States is decreasing while China's is rising. So that'll eventually cross. But what I'm trying to say is that they're not, China is amazing in many ways, but it's not, perfect in any way. Of course, they are a tightly controlled people. Their government controls them in ways that the Republican Party and their criminal standard bearer are trying to implement here in America. They can't protest, they can't unionize, they are surveilled. But that's exactly the kind of situation that the Republicans are trying to implement at home, under the same excuses for national security. All right, well, check out the Substack at the Political Voices Network, please. There's a lot of buffering happening, you guys? Okay, well, we will win eventually, hopefully. We're on the right side of history. This is Tara Devlin. Thank you, Charlie, from APS Radio News. Check out the Tara Show on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Political Voices Network, with myself and Tara Dublin. See you soon. I hope it stopped buffering. Has it stopped? Because I'm not getting a message. If it buffers, sometimes I'll get that yellow friggin' bar. Yeah, well, a lot of buffering. Yeah, this is America. And thank you, Jim, for your super chat. And thank you also for being a moderator. It's just heartbreaking. We'll just wrap it up. I was trying to finish that before we lost the Progressive Voices channel. Okay, Robyn has some minimal buffering. That's good. So, yes, so China can't form labor unions. Now, stop me if this sounds familiar, though. This is what Republicans are trying to do to us here without the added, I don't know, comfort of being able to go see a doctor without worrying about the bills. You know? China, that's what I'm saying. Like, how dare J.D. Vance call the Chinese peasants, look in the mirror, America. We are being left in the dust by the world. And, you know, why these idiots are dragging us backwards while they're fighting, saying that 5G is a plot to, you know, whatever they gave. And I actually looked it up. It's true that the Republicans were spreading this bullshit. It probably came from the Kremlin, because that's what they do. You know, they get some memes from the Kremlin, and then the Republicans run with it. That 5G gives you COVID. That's a thing. That's a literal thing. I wouldn't even doubt it if I saw that on Perjury Trader Green's feed somewhere. You know, with the Jewish space lasers. But everything that every leap forward we try to implement or take as a country, the Republicans are standing there screaming, holding us back, screaming about all kinds of conspiracy theories, right? Even during the pandemic, yet another opportunity. The pandemic was an opportunity where Trader Trump could have gone down in history as a real great president. If he had managed that, if he was not the failed baboon that he is, all he had to do was do his job. But he didn't want to do his job because he doesn't know how to do his job, first of all. He's lazy. They're all lazy. That's the thing. You know, they talk about the dignity of work. Speak for yourself, friggin' Republicans. They hate work. That's why they want to make it easy to steal. Make it easy to step on your neck. Give you no seat at the table so they don't have to be pestered with providing a fair share of the profits that your labor makes possible in the first place. That's what it's about. They're fucking lazy. Trump is lazy. He doesn't want to come down from his executive time. He's watching TV. You know, he's going all over doing interviews on Fox News. That's why he's like, bring it to the states. Give it to the states. He loves that. Give it to the states. Because that means you don't have to do shit. Just like during COVID, when he said to the governors, well, find your own ventilators. All right? And I'm writing an article about that. It's going to be in the article about, you know, give it to the states. That's the third, you know, I guess it's the triple threat. The Republicans, it's not buffering for me here, guys. It's not buffering. Redfoot, I'm telling you. It says excellent condition. I will show you. Now it's buffering. Oh, wonderful. Now it's buffering. You jinxed it. Not you. Me. I shouldn't have touched anything. Oh, please don't buffer. But it does say excellent. It still says excellent condition. I hope so. Don't crap out on me now, stream. But yeah, so what was I saying? All right, let's get to the other thing. Yeah, no, I mean this whole leave it to the states. Trump, that's another way that Trump, well, because he's lazy, but it is a way, because he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. It's like Elon Musk talking about 4-year-olds getting Social Security. Because he doesn't know what Social Security is. You know, he wouldn't pester his stupid fucking brain cell finding out. He just wants to destroy. And neither would Trump bother to follow the Constitution or learn how. things work in America or are supposed to work. That's why he wants to be a dictator. You know, it's so much easier to just say booga 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 and wave your scepter and watch the maggots fall to their knees. You know, and then you can go off and you can hit your button and here comes the Diet Coke, and you call up Fox News and you get right on the air, and then you walk into rooms and they play Hail to the Chief. You know, it's all that stuff. And then when you go and you can have a rally and swing to the music in front of all the other freaking flying monkeys. Right, that's what you want. He wants, you know, he could put his ass, his 6'3", 225-pound bloated bag of lard on the board of the Kennedy Center. He gets to do things like that, and then he can have the whole world economy crash, because he knows, even though he doesn't have the power, he doesn't have the constitutional authority, except that the conservatives in Congress, whatever, abdicated to him. You know, they could take that back anytime. He has no power to go booga booga booga. The tariffs are 125% now. That's not his purview. Congress holds the purse strings, but they gave him emergency powers. Yeah, that's a good idea. Give a serial bankrupt, tax cheating con man with a fake university, a fake multi-level marketing vitamin scam. Give him the keys to the entire world economy. Give him the power. This malignancy, who was so hurt for years because no one took him seriously. He was outside the velvet ropes. He wanted so much to be on the A-list, calling up the reporters in New York City saying, John Barron, hey, this is John Barron. That guy Trump, he is so desirable. All the celebrities want to bang him. Madonna wants to bang him. It's amazing. They all say how good he is in bed. And you know he's not good in bed, just by the mere fact that he says that. Of course he's not good in bed. Not that I want to think about that. But he sucks in bed. He's the worst. Not only do we have Stormy's account, but he's a selfish prick. Literally and figuratively. It's not that it's smaller than average, as Stormy said. That's not the point. It's that he's selfish. So how can you be good in bed if you're selfish? That's not... It doesn't work like that. You got to be, you got to be in it. You got to be present. You don't treat your partner just like, a fucking, what do you call it? A fleshlight. I wish I didn't know these terms. How do I know about fleshlights? Really? But, yeah. Right? That's what it is. Fucking disgusting, these people. So, all right, how much time we got here? We got 26 minutes. Hold on. I should stop drinking coffee at some time before it hits midnight. So let's, I didn't really read the whole Elon Musk article. I thought we'd save it. And if the damn thing wasn't buffering, the other thing, I was looking at George Santos's Cameo. He used to sell his cameos for, what were they, up to 500 at one point? They're down to 100 now. And I was thinking, but I thought he might not do it. But I was thinking of hiring him to do a promo for the Tariff show. Right? Wouldn't that be good? That might be good. Maybe I should do that. You think he would do it? he's being sentenced. Let me see, George Santos, or he's going to be sentenced. And I was reading about that. That's why I looked it up. He was on my mind. I looked up his Cameo, but the prosecutors want the judge to throw the book at him because he is remorseless, of course. And they said he has a high probability of reoffending. Yes, he does. He's been offending his entire life. He's a con man, like Trader Trump. They're all grifters, these people. Let me see. Justice Department. George Anthony DeVolder Santos. Where is it? He is unrepentant as he faces years in prison for fraud. He looks like he gained a lot of weight. Not a lot, but a fair amount. 20 pounds, maybe? Because he's probably, he's eating his feelings. And he looks, actually, I don't know if we can because of the fucking buffering. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens for a second. Since we're kind of free now that the Progressive Voices part of the show is over. But he looks really bad. He looks haggard and spent. All right, come on. Yeah, maybe it's not gonna go. We'll do another night, another time, I guess, when I'm capable, where I can, when we're not buffering, let's put it that way. And yeah, we're buffering again. Every time I try to do something, it fucking buffers. Buffer. But he doesn't look good. He's looking puffy. He's looking dirty. And he's doing these, cameos. And some of them the ones that are on the part where you listen to the previews, I guess. Some of them, he's really not handling the microphone correctly. And the audio is crackling and crinkling and such, and he doesn't even bother to recut it for the person who paid them or paid him for a friggin' cameo. They get to, they gotta listen through all the crackling while you fuck it up. And he just looks like shit. He's not trying. He has stopped trying. Because he's depressed. Maybe, I don't know. Do sociopaths get depressed? I guess so. When I read that book I told you about, very famous book, The Sociopath Next Door. And one of the things that stuck with me was that the sociopaths are not all, of course, like, psychopaths or like Ted Bundy. They're not all... They don't turn into serial killers or CEOs, but a lot of them are just grifters. They're con men. They have no problem swindling people. They're like, maybe you might know people like that. They just, live off their long-suffering mother. They live in the basement of their mother's house, like they've never... had a job, you know what I mean? Things like that. Because they have no problem being a parasite. And ultimately, in that book, she wrote that a lot of them end up, unaliving themselves eventually. Because they just have no joy in their lives, and they have no connection. They don't feel connection with other people, and it's a very sad existence. And of course it is. Tara, what? Jesus Christ. Sorry. He's fucking trying to jump up. I know. Say hello. Just say hello. Hello. All right, say hello. You can't go up there. You gotta go over here. Okay, just sit. Sit. All right, stop. Sorry, guys. You know, this is that part of the show. It's that time. It is that time of the day, of the show. Where Tara Jr. gets to be very annoying. Even though I love him. He's a good boy. He's getting old. I think he's getting sundowning and such. I think that was part of what happened last night. It's very weird. At night, all day he's fine. In the day, he and Boudica and Ray, he's got no problem with them. Then at night, he starts hissing at them, and I don't know. I think he sundowns. So he's a good boy, though. All right, where is it? Here we go. So I thought I'd go through this a little bit. The article about Elon Musk. The tactics Elon Musk uses to manage his legion of babies and their mothers. Excuse me. The world's richest man juggles more than a dozen children and a harem of drama. Ugh, isn't he gross? Along with running his companies and advising Trump. He's not running his company. He's tweeting. And we talked about this last show, how he just fired a bunch of people from Tesla. He didn't even give them the courtesy of firing them. Like, he should have fired himself. The stock price tanked, and he said, oh, well, when a stock price tanks, you just fire 20% of the workforce, because that'll make up your shortfall, because that's what matters. Money, 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 money. That's all that matters. He should fire himself. The reason the stock price is tanking, not because of these hard-working workers. They didn't do shit. They didn't go out there and do a Nazi salute. They're not out there, I don't know, firing people and dancing around with a fucking chainsaw. Right? They're not destroying America. They're not hanging or palling around with Nazis. That's what he's doing. Giving aid and comfort to Nazis? He's a fucking traitor. I can't wait. I hope I live long enough to see him pay for his crimes against humanity. And there are many. Oh God, please. Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. Can we put that on our list of things to visualize? So let's see. We can't read the whole thing because it's rather long. I'd show you the whole thing if I could, if we weren't buffering like it was 1999 up in this bitch. Shit. Musk's, let's see. Ashley St. Clair wanted to prove that Elon Musk was the father of her newborn baby. But to ask the billionaire to take a paternity test, the right-wing social media influencer had to go through Musk's longtime fixer, Jared Birchall. I don't want my son to feel like he's a secret, St. Clair told Birchall in a 2-hour phone call in December. Birchall offered St. Clair some advice. His boss was very big-hearted, kind, and generous, he said. But Musk had a different side. When a mother of his child goes, quote-unquote, the legal route, and I don't know if he's from Brooklyn or not, but, I am, in these discussions, that always leads to a... It sounds kind of like Bernie now. Maybe I should make him sound like, that always leads... Like more like a mouse. That always leads to a worse outcome for that woman than it would have been otherwise. So he was threatening her, Birchall told the 26-year-old. Plus, he said Musk wasn't even sure the child was his. It wasn't the first such conversation for Birchall. His public job is running Musk's family office, and he recently helped organize Musk's more than 250 million push to support the fucking con man, traitor, tax cheating, draft dodging, wannabe dictator, piece of dirt, waste of human DNA, Putin puppet bitch, who sent a mob of traitors to defecate and urinate in the halls of the Capitol. He supported that so-called donation to the traitor's election. Behind the scenes, Birchall also manages the financial and privacy deals that Musk wants for the women raising the world's richest man's babies. And remember that that song, that Thank You Elon Musk song that I wrote an article about at the Political Voices Network? One more kid, one more. Well, that was one of the lines in the chorus. One more kid, one more something, car or something like that. One more kid. Hey, what's happening, Buddha? She's knocking shit off the shelves. Here we go. Okay. Musk has had at least 14 children with 4 women. That's what we know about. That's another thing that's in this article, that there's more that we probably don't even know about. Buddha, get over here. Give me this. She's knocking shit off the shelves. Let's see. He's had at least 14 children with 4 women, including the pop musician Grimes. And Siobhan Zillis, an executive at his brain computer company, Neuralink. Go away. Ugh, go away. Go to Mars already. Go to Russia. Get the F out. Go to North Korea. Right? Get the out of here. Multiple sources close to the asshole, they say tech entrepreneur, said they believe the true number of Musk's children is much higher than publicly known. Musk offered St. Clair $15 million and $100,000 a month in support in exchange for her silence about the child. Isn't he wonderful? Whom they named Romulus. Oh, God. At least it wasn't X, but similar agreements had been negotiated with other mothers of Musk's children, Birchall told St. Clair. The fight with St. Clair over terms of the deal for their baby has been ongoing, as Musk assumed one of the most influential roles in our sad, dying democracy. God help us. As a top advisor to President Trump, he's been slashing staff and billions of dollars. Oh, my God. That's what I'm talking about. Crimes against humanity. As the head of the Department of Government Efficiency, which is not a department. Excuse me, Wall Street Journal. It's not a department. It's the fake Department of Gazillionaire Extortion, if you want to be generous. But if you want to just say Department of Government Efficiency, you say the fake Department of Government Efficiency. It's not a fucking department. Okay. With massive benefit programs such as Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare. Oh my God. In the crosshairs. I hate him. Legally and peacefully. Musk's baby-making project is relevant to his ambitions for NASA, which he wants to move faster to go to Mars. How dare you? Fuck off. Sorry to scream in your ears, but go away. Go away. You know? I mean, this is our country, not yours, Elon Musk. You want to take NASA and make it move it faster? Well, then get the fuck out of the way. Give back your $50 fucking billion. Scumbag. Go away. Oh my God, will somebody arrest him already? This has got to stop. In Musk's view of the well, he said on X that making people multiplanetary is critical to ensuring the long-term survival of humanity and all life as we know it. Like you care. He hates humanity. He's a sociopath. There's no doubt about that. Nobody can fire people with such glee and not be a sociopath. No one could strip and cut people's lifelines with such glee and lie about it and continue to lie. No one can lie that prolifically, like the con man, like his Putin, fucking, like his, whatever, like the toy president he bought. They're all sociopaths. They're malignant narcissists. In Musk's dark view of the world, civilization is under threat because of declining population. He is driven to correct it with the historic moments by helping seed the earth with more human beings of high intelligence. You're not high intelligence, Musk. You're very basic. You're a real basic bitch. Nobody of high intelligence wastes their life speaking to Nazis. That's the truth. Racism and low IQ are interlinked. There's many studies that confirm that. And no one is dumb as you. I mean, nobody who's smart retweets anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. No one who isn't a basic bitch hires ringers to play a video game for them so he can say, I'm a number 10. I'm in the top 10 in the whole world of video game players. Everybody. And then he goes on online. We did this the other show when he put this test out there that somehow he was in his private jet and he was playing Path of Exile or one of them, or Diablo, and he said, this is, it's a test, some kind of test they were running, just like he needed to do that test with a camera on his stupid face. Oh, don't worry, I'll do the test. I'm just Elon Musk. I'm a genius. I've got nothing better to do than play this fucking game and be bad at it. You think Einstein had a moment to spare to be like, to get somebody to play a game for him so he can say that he's in the top 10 in the world? It's so pathetic. It says everything about who he is. And that's why, we are being gaslit to death here in this country. We really are. The way that we give any latitude to the Trumpanzees, their feelings. We always got to check in with them. How they doing? How they feeling now? Do they regret their vote now? What about everybody else? What about the normal people? Right? Ever check in with the normals? They don't put a focus group together. It was always about the Trumpanzees. What are they doing? What are they feeling? How do they? No one shames them when they should be shamed. There's a reason Mother Nature put shame in our capacity. What do you call it? Emotional capacity. Because we're interdependent. When you feel shame, it's the way where you say, wow, I shouldn't do that again. That hurts the community, and I don't want to feel this shame. Right? I mean, if we weren't meant to be decent and good to each other, we wouldn't have that feeling. But the fact that the majority of the people share it says everything. And if you don't have it, if you don't give a shit about anybody else but yourself, that's not a master of the universe thing. You are broken. You're broken. and you need to be removed somehow. Put to the side. As long as you don't hurt anybody. Go play your stupid games and shit. You certainly don't get to rule us. I mean, this has got to stop. We got to stop elevating these psychopaths and sociopaths and their admirers. That's what annoyed me when we played that CNN report, one of the other shows recently, of the guy who lost money, the beekeeper, who was finally seeing the light because he lost money because of Trader Trump's ridiculous trade war. And he's like, no one said to him, oh, now, because you lost some money. And of course, that's important because you need to put a roof over your head and feed your families and stuff like that. But you were doing that just fine under Democrats and Joe Biden. But you wanted to what? You wanted to put those wokers in their place? Tell those trans people what they could do with their lives? You didn't like the others somehow. Somebody was, bothering you somehow. What was it? Because anything that you thought Trump was doing is not true. I mean, he left the economy in the worst state since the first Republican Great Depression. He left us 1 million corpses, an economy declining, inflation out of control. I mean, everything. Oh, but they don't feel it. They feel that he's a businessman. Well, he's not. He's not a businessman. So, what was that? Moon, whatever? Moonstruck? Snap out of it. That's what has to happen. And that lady on who was interviewing the beekeeper guy, she should have been like, don't you feel embarrassed? I mean, aren't you ashamed of yourself? Why would you embrace somebody that came down an escalator calling Mexicans rapists? Why don't they shame them with that? Like, you know what I mean? Because that in itself is disgusting. So you're cool with a demagogue, a wannabe demagogue, a serial bankrupt, tax cheating, draft dodging, wannabe dictator envying con man who sent a mob to try to overthrow the peaceful transfer of power. You're cool with all that and the racism and this everything else, the sexism, the rape, adjudicated rapist, the felonies, all of that. You're cool with that because you saw him play a successful businessman on reality TV. Even though here in reality, he bankrupted his trust fund 6 times. He bankrupted 4 casinos. Everything he touched turned to shit. But you think he's a deal maker. You see the deals? So many deals, making deals. So many deals. The deal maker made a lot. He made the worst jobs record since Herbert Hoover. Oh, but that's because of COVID. I love how they always give him a latitude. Oh, well, it was COVID. Well, he botched the response to the pandemic. We had the worst per capita death rate of every, I should say, modern democracy, every developed nation. And they never pointed out, the inflation when they were going up Joe Biden's ass about inflation, even though the American economy was recovering faster than every other developed nation, right? And inflation was coming down faster. They never gave Joe Biden the same latitude, right? They excuse Trader Trump leaving office with the worst jobs record since Herbert Hoover, but not, because of COVID, but not Joe Biden the inflation that he had to tackle with because of COVID. Hold on. Listen, guys, we will win. Thank you for hanging out. Come on over to the Tara Show, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at the Political Voices Network with my friend Tara Dublin. And Jim is there. You want to hang out with Jim in the chat room? He's a moderator. We will win. What else? Thank you, Charlie from APS Radio News. Become a patron at patreon.com/Tara Devlin. We're on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. We stick together, we win. I'll see you soon. All right, let's just finish up this article. It's not too much longer. Just to get, I said I was going to not stay late, but oh well. So, okay. He has recruited potential mothers on his social media platform X, according to some of the people. Musk has used his wealth to buy the silence of some women who have his kids, according to St. Clair, as well as other people. Text messages and documents reviewed by the journal reveal. Non-disclosure clauses are part of some of the payment agreements. If the mothers push back or seek outside counsel, Musk's advisors, including Birchall, have threatened financial retribution. Because that's who he is. He's a piece of dirt. Birchall described Musk's expectations to St. Clair. Privacy and confidentiality is the top of the list in every aspect of his life. Every aspect. Yeah, privacy. Much. Isn't that funny? Coming from the freaking parasite who's in everyone's business, that has all our private information, that's in our Social Security, that's in our IRS, right? In these agencies with all our private information. Oh, well, hey, the King Musk values privacy above all. You know what I'm saying? These people have to be stopped. Stopped. Legally and peacefully. They must be cut down to size. They must be taxed into submission. Or the French had a remedy where they would be cut down to size, a head shorter, right? That's where it'll go if they make the other way impossible. That's how it is. So during the chat with Birchall, St. Clair told him that she had received outreach from a woman Musk had invited to have his baby. Isn't he a fucking dirtbag? She said she was being caught up in Musk's harem drama. All these evangelicals too, right? As long as they hate the same people, they let all of these maggots, these horrible people, run rampant. The details of Musk's baby mission are now starting to spill into the public. Grimes begged Musk in February for help on X when one of their children was having a medical crisis because Musk wouldn't engage with her. Earlier that month, after their 4-year-old son also called X, because he's a very basic bitch, as I said. He's not a genius. He's boring. He's a basic bitch. He's very simple. He has no good ideas like Trump. He's just a good grifter. His 4-year-old son, also called X, had been on national television on his father's shoulders like a prop. As he talked about government cuts, Grimes posted that he should not be in public like this. A person familiar with Musk's thinking on those agreements with the mothers of his children say that Musk believes it is better to resolve these matters behind closed doors. Musk has warned that civilization is going to crumble. No, that's just you ketamine-addled freak. You're crumbling. You're crumbling. See, the world is your mirror. You don't like what you see, don't blame the mirror, fix your face, you filthy, disgusting sociopath. If people don't start having more children, a view popularized on the pro-natalism right-wing circles, the pro-natalism movement is composed of people concerned about the birth rate and eager to implement policy and cultural solutions to the problem. All right, whatever. Without babies, there is no future. Every problem becomes secondary to the problem of not having people on the planet. Elon believes that a country is not the geography. A country is the people. You know what he's talking about? White people. That's what he's talking about. We need, it's what every, we have, I'm sure I have a clip somewhere of that Fox News guy going, we need more white babies. That's what I'm saying. You know, your vote for Trump, you're in league with Nazis and the KKK. That's what that lady, that CNN lady interviewing the beekeeper should have asked him. So now you're upset because you're losing some money, but you're cool voting in league with Nazis and the KKK 3 times, 3 elections. That's cool? You're cool with, you know, being with Nazis, voting with Nazis, voting with Putin, when the only people, Putin does have a vote, really, when the only people on earth who are happy about the win of your political candidate, the only people are horrible people, Nazis, the KKK, David Duke, all the worst people, you know, Putin, Xi, friggin' Kim Jong-un, and all the world's most disgusting dictators are happy. What are you happy about? You hate America that much? I guess so. So when the interviewer joked that Musk was doing his part to address the issue, the billionaire agreed. Yes, I am. I mean, you know, you got to walk the talk. So I do have a lot of kids. And I encourage others to have a lot of kids. Well, not, you know, if your name is Gutierrez, right? Or Gonzalez. Musk, I'm not speculating, by the way. Here it goes. Musk has said he is concerned about what he called third world countries having higher birth rates than Europe and the U.S. That's what you see? Third world countries. Well, they wouldn't be third world maybe if it weren't for, you know, economic colonization and people like you. Maybe. I don't know. We can take it a case-by-case basis. But you ain't helping shit. Could you imagine being the richest person on earth and you're dancing around with a chainsaw, firing people? And then your car company that you bought into, that you didn't invent, you bought into it and you started your bullshit with firing people, but your car company loses money because you're a Nazi turd blossom, and you respond by not being a Nazi, but by firing people who don't deserve it. Those people didn't do anything to tank the stock. You did. And they have no respect. You know, people who have no respect for other human beings should be nowhere near authority. And that's what, you know, when Republicans go, put the adults back in charge, fuck your feelings. Of course, they're the biggest snowflakes ever. And what they mean by adult is the sociopaths. Because the Democrats are the adults. Right? They're like, oh, you're just going on your feelings. What they mean is you shouldn't give a shit when you cut grandma's lifeline. You should dance around with a chainsaw. That's being an adult and calling people retards. That's being an adult, right? While you're cutting Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security. But what they mean is not caring. Don't give a shit about anybody else but yourself. That's adult. Well, it ain't e pluribus unum. And it's not America. So, go away. Fuck off. Right? They should just go. Go build your stupid sea cities and have your baboon in charge, all that, right? Leave us alone. We can do it. We could build bullet trains, and we can have jobs, and health care. We can do all that shit that other countries do. Oh boy, oh boy. All right. Well, let's... Oh my God. Look at these. I wish I could show you my screen without buffering. Grimes claimed on X that her court battle with Musk over custody of their 3 children bankrupted her and that she has a fraction of Musk's resources. Of course she does, right? Musk sued Grimes in 2023 in Texas to establish a parent-child relationship, and Grimes countersued for physical custody, primary physical custody. She alleged that Musk kept one of their children from her for 5 months and that during the court proceedings, Musk's team dug up parts of her past to portray her as a bad mother. Of course they did. That's what they do. Well, what about him? He's a dirtbag. You know, just show the asshole jumping around with a chainsaw. Oh, God. There was one other thing I wanted to read that really sums it up. But I can't find it. Because there's one part, but I can't fucking find it, where they're like, when they're trying to get somebody to sign a non-disclosure, the guy who is his fixer said to one of the women, I guess it's the St. Clair person, that, oh, well, you know, it's about how, and I'm just paraphrasing, how all of, you got to do these things because we've had a lot of incidences with women who turn out being crazy and unhinged. I'm trying to find if, and, you know, it's like, if that's, it's, you know, if you're, how many women, right, unhinged? Because all I can see, okay, I'm sure they're not the paragon of mental health, but neither is a freak who jumps around with a chainsaw firing people, and is a liar, and, you know, we'll go over all the things, you know, hires ringers to play video games for him, and is a, you know, has a botched penis extension operation, and hates himself, right? That much. But the only common denominator in all of the so-called crazy women, they just end up being kooky and crazy, and, well, there's one common denominator in all of the stories. It's him. So I don't know, maybe it's not the women. I would say it's Elon Musk, right? All right, my friends, thank you for hanging out. I gotta go lay down. Where's my girl? Where's my little girl? Want to see Boudica? Buddha, let me see. Oh yes, you're a good girl. Say hi, baby Buddha. Say hello. Look at the camera. Buddha. Oh, there she goes again. She just doesn't like looking at the camera. She don't like being picked up. All right, listen, my friends. I love you. Thank you for hanging out. My name is Tara Devlin. There will be shows this week. The Tara Show on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm not sure about Wednesday. We got to see. Robyn and I, Robyn Kincaid from headon.live and I, we've been trying to do our simulcast, and Skype is going away. It's been a real pain in the ass. And this week, I couldn't deal with it. So last time, we got to figure it out. We've been talking about it. I don't know what we're going to do. Teams doesn't work with Ecamm, and I might have to do Zoom, and everything costs money. That's why I say we need, I can't do it myself here. If you don't, want me living on your couch, become a patron at patreon.com/TaraDevlin. All right? Please. All right, my friends. I love you. I hope you enjoyed the show tonight and hanging out. I did. I enjoyed hanging out with you. Sorry for the buffering. It wasn't buffering for me 100%, but people were saying it was buffering because when it buffers, I see it. So maybe there was some buffering on your end too, but I'm not saying that it wasn't buffering, but all right. Nice to see you. All right. Credo Vision. So Elon had gender-affirming surgery. Yes. Yes, he did. And according to numerous sources, it was botched. And one of those sources is Grimes. And being such a litigious dirtbag, he's never threatened them with any kind of litigation over this botched penis surgery thing. This rapper, I can't remember the guy's name. He was the one that tweeted it out and saying that Grimes confirmed it, and she never, what do you call it? That's not even a word. She didn't deny it. That's the word I'm looking for. And her silence, she basically was like, no comment, but meaning it wasn't like, no, are you crazy? And he never told them to stop this, I'm going to sue you or anything like that, because if he did, then there would be discovery and it would all come out that it's true. Of course he had a penis enlargement surgery. Of course he did. He had hair transplants. We've seen the pictures of him as a younger person with basically going bald. And he had a penis enlargement surgery that, according to Grimes, didn't go well. Oh well, serves him right. Serves him right. All right, guys. I love you. Thank you for hanging out. I need to go to bed. I'm tired. Hopefully these cats will let me sleep tonight. We will win. I appreciate you. And don't forget to subscribe to the Political Voices Substack. If you can. It's like $2 a month. You could do $2 a month at the Political Voices Substack. And then you could do $2 a month at the Tarabuster Patreon page. And then $2 at the Super Chat. How bad is that? It's not that bad, is it? I don't know, whatever. I'm begging. That's e-begging in action. I hate it, but I'm tired, so I need to go lay down. I've been up since very early. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of being awake. I need to get unconscious. All right, my friends, I love you. And I will see you on Tuesday with myself and Tara Dublin at the Political Voices Network. And I'll see you soon. Stay safe.